afternoon, good evening, wherever you are catching us from. My name is Liz Nderito. Welcome to the first episode season of Beyond Numbers by KKCO podcast. And with me on set, I have two gentlemen and a lady. Karibuni sana.
Sante.
My name is Liz Nderito. I'll be your host for today's podcast and the first episode. And I'll start with my immediate right. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. My name is Nimrod Kurkat. I'm a lead partner at KKCO East Africa. And thank you for having us. Thank you.
Karibu sana.
My name is Liz Matimu. I'm a partner in charge of advisory, and I also represent clients from a company secretarial perspective. And it's exciting to be here. Thank you.
Karibu sana. You look lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Liz. My name is CPA Joshua Gashomo, partner in charge of audit and advisory, assurance services. I'm also in charge of training. Thank you.
Karibuni sana. So I am in the presence of greatness, auditors, CPAK, accountants, right?
Yeah.
Karibuni sana. How are you feeling?
Feeling well?
Excited.
Yeah, ready.
Excited?
For the episode, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have a question just to break the ice and get into the podcast. And I'll start with Joshua. I'd want to know, would you rather save money or save time?
Wow. Yeah, that's a good question. For me, I would save time.
Time?
I would save time. Because, again, as I say, time is money. And so as I save the time, I would have saved the money. So I get both by saving one. Yeah.
You know, as guys are used to accountants and the guys to be very keen on the numbers.
Yeah.
And then now for you, Liz, I'd want to know if you could pick up a skill instantly, what would it be?
Instantly. I would pick the skill of learning how to play guitar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're into music?
I'm into music. And with there's something you had asked us previously, and I think when I got my first money as an intern, I bought a guitar.
Oh, really?
And I couldn't hold it. The strings, my fingers are short. So I never learned how to play it, and I love the sound of guitar.
Yeah. I think you'll tell us what happened to the guitar at a later time. And now for you, Nimrod, let me know, what's one accomplishment that you're most proud of?
In terms of personal
Anything,
life,
whatever comes to your mind.
yeah, I think for me, family is what I value.
Okay.
And seeing young babies growing to be adults, I think it's a privilege, and it's something which I take it I don't take for granted. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So, karibuni sana.
Thank you.
The aim of our podcast is we want to really just empower viewers and create impact, in the sense there's a lot of conversations that have been happening in our country, whether it's audit, tax, e-teams, all these conversations. And we realize more often than not, a lot of these things will give people anxiety because they lack clarity or even the know-how of what exactly is going on. So I'd want us to have conversations around that. I'd want us to give people information about, most of these topics. But of course, we are calling it Beyond Numbers. So there'll also be conversations that really are beyond numbers. We'd want to know, how did you end up as the lead partner, whether it is in audit, it is in tax, all these things are things that we are looking to just get to know about you. So karibuni sana, and I hope after this episode, you'll still be willing to sit with me again for another episode. Now, I want to know, what is KKCO? Maybe Joshua, you'd tell me what KKCO is.
Yeah. KKCO, first is that KKCO East Africa LLP is an audit firm. What we then do is that we are specializing in a number of assurance services. And by assurance services, I mean where you come in as a client and then you're looking for, you have had your books of account and you'd like another person who is independent to come and give you assurance or confidence that these are the true reflection of your performance. So we then handle that as an assurance service. We also do other services, including outsource accounting, what we call the consulting services. We have outsource HR. We have company secretarial. We have tax. Yeah, that is how we are at KKCO East Africa LLP. Yes.
And Nimrod, tell me, really, Joshua has told us what KKCO is about. I'd want to know, what do you feel sets KKCO apart besides the audit, the accounting?
Yeah, I think it's also to tell you that KKCO was established in the year 1985. So we've been in business for the last close to 40 years.
40 years, okay.
40 years. And we've been able to grow and also meet client expectations. And basically, this is our approach, which is we focus on understanding the client need, understand the client business, then, of course, ensuring that we mobilize the right team, which is mainly the people which we have at our firm, so that we can deliver a value-add business solution, whether it's tax, audit, advisory. We can give advisory which can add value to our client businesses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you have been in business for quite a number of years. So there's the element of trust that you actually are able to deliver.
Correct.
There's also the element that of relationship. So it's not just I will go through your books. It's important for you to understand the business of the client. Look at the gaps, and then now you're able to give advisory.
Correct. And this is especially for the audit function. We come in as we normally see ourselves as we partner with you, so that we also help you grow. And this is possible by understanding your business, so that through that understanding, we can make recommendations or proposals on how to enhance your business operations.
I think that's something we'll definitely get into some more. So Liz, you have been in business for about 40 years.
Yes.
So what's different now, besides, of course, the fact that now we have the podcast? So what's new? What's different? Yeah.
So I think what's different and what we have learned over the years, because those are lots of years of experiences, the way our approach has completely changed. And our approach has changed to, I think, what Nimrod mentioned about partnering. And one of our key core values at KKCO is care fronting. And what that means is when we are at clients' premise, or when we get a client, we partner with you, and we don't come to you as policemen, or police women. We come to you as advisors, and we genuinely want your business to grow. We genuinely want you to find solutions. So we come in, we understand you, we sit with you. We say we are very relatable. We are actually very relatable people. At the touch of a phone, you can call any partner and, just say, I'm having this problem. How can you help me? How do I resolve this issue? And we're able to sit with you and look for a solution and help you. So we come in, and we always tell our clients, when we come in, see us as your partners, as your advisors. We are there to help you grow and to cover the gaps accordingly. The other thing that has really changed over the years is we partnered with an international firm called DFK International.
Okay.
And what DFK did for our clients is it gave them a wealth of specialists across not just Kenya, but across Africa, across the world.
Mm.
So DFK International is in over 300 countries in the world, and over 300 locations in the world, and we're in majority of the countries in the world. In Africa, we have grown. We're in Eastern, Southern, even Western and North Africa. And where we don't have the expertise, we have expertise within the group.
Okay.
And also what it does for our staff is our staff get to travel and get experiences. We can have exchange programs with other member firms in other countries. We share knowledge if it's tax cross-border knowledge. So it's been a big difference in terms of expanding our base, not just for our clients, but also for our teams. Yeah.
So, guys, we hear of auditing, we hear of all these things. When I think about auditing and accounting, automatically I think of CPAs. I remember my math teacher, all those things. I'd want to know, and Joshua, maybe you could start us off. Would you give me an example of the businesses who would benefit from KKCO services?
Yes. Again, just as explained by Reese, is that we are giving to the market a package. Now, as we package that solutions, we call it a solution package. Again, we are packaging it and delivering it in under the atmosphere of what we call quality, and again, a lot of relationship. But then with those who then would need our services, they cut across all the sectors within the economy. Specifically, if you have what we call SME, a small medium enterprise that is running in Kenya, we would then require audit services and would be there to give you that solution. You would need audit services so that you get the assurance, as I explained, that you want to know or you want to get the confidence that your books of account were maintained well by the accountants and that you comply with the various regulations. Again, we will be there to offer that audit services to a micro enterprise. We would also be there to offer those services to if you are in a church organization or what we call para-church organization. So a church organization would then be any religious organization. If you come to us and again for assurance services, they want to know how all their books were maintained, their tithes, their offerings, their expenses, their balance sheet in terms of how their assets were. We will be there for them. If you are in what we call not-for-profit, currently now being called public benefit organizations, we would be there to offer the assurance services. Again, to look at the grant agreements, to look at how the donors requirements, and then give them the assurance services. If you are also an SME that is operating in Kenya, or even probably you are a multinational that is setting base in Kenya, and you want outsourced accounting, you don't want to hire your own accountant, but you want to use our services, then we would be there to offer the accounting services for you. If you're also in Kenya, again, whether you're in Kenya, even outside, and you are looking for services like tax services, you want to understand your transfer pricing, arrangements, you want to understand how to be compliant in terms of taxes, the income taxes, and all the taxes that comes in, KKCO will also package, again, a solution for you in terms of tax services. If you have an organization where you want your accountant also checked internally, we call it internal audit. That internal audit function we can also offer to you, where then we come in and structure a package of a systemized way of looking at your books. Again, giving you some solution, reporting to the board, and again, coming in with internal audit services. If you're also looking for company secretarial, where you want to know, do I have an annual return, again, filed with the registrar of companies or societies? You want to have someone who is taking the minutes and again ensuring that the governance is working. We have company secretarial services. We are certified public secretaries, in addition to us being certified public accountants. Again, that could be in a nutshell, again, some of the services that you would get from KKCO.
So I'm wondering, I have a couple of garages in town. and maybe 5 to 10 permanent mix, or would I benefit from any of your services? At least
Yeah, so you would definitely benefit from our services. We would come, you would call us, and what we would do would assess your business, would understand what specific services you want. Typical garages, their issue is a lot of controls. They have a lot of businesses in Kenya. To start, I always say, if you want to start business in Kenya, you have to think about your controls. Of course, think about the end consumer, but also think about your controls and how to ensure that your business is secured. So, yes. So
what do you mean by controls?
The control is, so for example, if you have cash, there's a garage and a car owner has bought their car.
Okay.
And they're paying cash. So how do they pay the cash? And where is the cash placed? So a control will make sure that the cash is received by one person. It's deposited in a specific location. And in Kenya, what we would even encourage is maybe the money is not paid via cash, but maybe paid via M-Pesa or paid directly to bank. So that's a control to make sure that the money doesn't disappear. I don't know if Joshua or Nimrod wants to help me in terms of
I'm trying to understand. Like when you say his money, please, do you mean the cash box? What do you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just as explained is that you have this garage in town, you are buying spare parts, you are selling them, you're having customers who walk in, you're having others who requires what we call an invoice. Probably they are getting the service on credit, arrangement with you. And so you set an environment that ensures that you don't lose your money. So that environment, in a nutshell, is called an internal control. So it will span from then asking the big question as to how is money received? Can we have all the money received in the bank? Can you ensure that you don't pay cash? You come in, you're getting a pay bill. That's a control around banking cash. If you want to make a payment and you want to ensure that you do it right, you establish a control around a payment and say, the following document then constitutes a valid payment. You say, I need a payment voucher, for example. The payment voucher become a control that you would ensure that you saw that voucher before making the payment. You would then say it is prepared by somebody, it is authorized by somebody, it is approved by another one. It's a control around that payment. And so then that garage now we require internal controls. Yes.
So maybe I can also add on this issue of control. Controls are all about ensuring that there is no loss. It can be a loss of tire, loss of cash, loss of a table or a seat. So basically the controls which Joshua is talking about, it's to ensure that you have no chance of losing any assets, any cash, any money. And that's mainly our work.
So just back to the garage story. So the garage person, we would come back and look, and based on our experience, what they would want is what maybe services would offer is a walkthrough in their business. We would work with them in their business and pick any gaps, any gaps for loss. Money could be lost in terms of the spare parts. So we'd look at the gaps there and then provide them solutions to ensure those gaps are sealed. Like cash, instead of receiving cash, the money should go directly to bank. So we'd look at, like in terms of your tires, maybe just make sure you have CCTV cameras. And there's a process of counting how many tires you have at the end of the day. And that count is done, and we try as much as possible to automate, because with technology, we try as much as possible to enable our clients use automation to make their work better, and to use automated internal control. So a garage would need such services. They would need, depending on span, it's 5 employees, would look at basic things like, how are their staff employed well? Can we look at controls around, do they have good contracts? How are they covered? Sometimes Kenyans think that not giving a staff a contract is better than just telling you you've been employed. But there's higher risk of not giving a formal contract. So we would look at that and say, you know what, give your staff a contract. It's easier. It covers you as employer. It covers you as employee. So we'd look at that. And then we would also help you look, where do you want to be in the next, do you want to double, triple your sales? So based on, and we look at it from a controls, again, perspective. Based on the controls you have, how do you ensure that you're able to benefit and grow?
So it's more holistic.
It's holistic.
It's the bit where I'm imagining I have a business, and whether it's 5, 10 guys, and every so often I have a board that meets. So you'd give me the secretarial services, right? As someone to just take the minutes. You'd say, Joshua had mentioned that. We are talking about an accountant. If you actually want to outsource an accountant, you'd get that. If it's auditing, you're also able to give that service.
Correct.
So it all begins from you getting to know by business, then assessing it and figuring out what are the gaps. Because I think from what you've explained, it's also made me understand that the gaps may not just be about losing money. It could be the people you have employed. That could actually be a gap that exposes you to loss.
Correct.
And I'd want to understand, what are some of the mistakes that you've seen in your experience running the farm? What are some of the mistakes you've seen, whether it's SMEs, people making, what are the mistakes you've observed people are making?
Usually when we get clients who want to do where they want to outsource their accountant, usually, or they want to outsource their finance manager. Most of those clients, it's because there's been a major fraud. Their finance manager, defrauded the company or faked details, or the staff. Usually it comes, or you find that they would want our services. They want the outsourced accounting services when they have a potential buyer who wants to buy out their farm, and they need to make sure their books are in check, and what we found out from experience is a lot of organizations, especially Kenyan organizations, do not value the value of hiring professionals. So lack of professionals. So you feel, especially when you're starting up, you feel, I need to cut my costs. So cutting my costs, and you end up cutting corners. You say, I need that person who's still in school to just do my books. I can, you just take shortcuts. You've set up a business and you've spent 100 million, but you're not willing to hire a professional accountant. You're not willing to get an accounting firm that is able to give you advice. And yet you've spent 100 million. So a big mistake personally I have seen is just from the beginning, just set up good standards. Even if your business is starting up, set the standards, set the systems in place, automate from the word go. It'll cost you a bit, but that cost, the savings you'll make in the end are humongous as compared to continuing with business. 2 years later, you're dealing with a loss of 20 million that you're trying to recover. I think for me, that's one major one in the accounting side.
I think personally, I handle tax services, and I think that's where we've noticed several challenges. People coming with demand letters from the tax authorities, and when you look at the assessment or the demand letters from the tax authorities, you realize that this person did not tax plan before even providing or doing that service. So it's very important as even individual a business person, you ensure that you understand the tax laws or the tax requirement before you do any transaction. And we now come in as professional or tax experts to work with you even before you start your business, so that we understand the tax provision and also give you ways on how you can save a few coins in terms of tax planning. And I think some of the recent cases is, I think Kenyans, what Liz said, people want to save costs. So you want to register for a PIN, you walk into a bureau or a cyber, you tell them I need a PIN, I need tax certificate. Then those people, they are not experts.
Yeah.
So they can register several obligations, unnecessary obligations.
Yes.
So come 1 year, 2 years down the line, you will be receiving a lot of issues, demand letters from the tax authorities. So from where we sit, we now work with you from the initial stage, so that you don't face challenges in the years to come.
Nimrod, it's funny that you say that thing of tax obligations. I am a victim. There you'd go, you're getting into campus, and then you need a KRA PIN.
Yeah.
And ages later, I get all these emails being asked about to pay certain penalties.
Yeah.
So yeah, I later now learned we have different tax obligations.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a conversation we should have and let guys know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. One more other thing that one can mention is about the issue of governance.
And what do you mean by governance?
Yes, you are setting up a business, but you have not come up with an organogram. You don't have structures. Structures. You don't have structures that then says this is the board. This is now the senior management team. This is the way the structure of an organization is supposed to be.
Okay.
So there are checks and balances. You have a governance structure. Like you are not an authority by yourself. And so when you have that accountability mechanism, lack of those accountability mechanisms become a big gap in running the business. Because then you later realize that when you are doing your books, there are so many expenses that you incurred which were personal, which are not business related. Then tax people will come in and say these are not business expenses because you didn't have a proper governance structure. Number two is, again, it goes around the issue of trust. And I find a gap in trust where you want to trust your people instead of putting systems, processes that then speak to that trust. So you allow accountants to then run the shop. They have their signatories in the bank. They are running the accounting, but then there are no policies, there are no procedures. We don't have a finance policy, a HR policy that then become the constitution upon which decisions are made. But then people base it on trust. I trust you. You bring in something to sign because it is brought in by so and so. The CEO or someone signs. And that lack of trust, or rather that trust where you place trust on people without pressing on the systems, become a major thing, because now the repercussions, what then the outcomes comes out.
Yeah.
You fight fraud, you fight collusion, you fight misappropriation of money.
Yeah.
You fight poor decisions that were made. You fight, businesses that have collapsed, especially family-owned businesses. They have gone allowed the issue of trusting people other than putting in systems, putting in processes, putting in a system that then feeds into the accounting and gives you the report, ensuring that there are checks and balances, just as described, the control around ensuring you don't lose any money.
Yeah.
When that is placed on men, again, you find a big
Yeah.
And someone said that Audit has been said that in God we trust, but for the men we audit. This is again to ensure that we get the assurance and the verification.
Yeah. And
yeah,
when you've explained, sorry, I don't know if I've cut you short.
Yeah.
But when you explained that, I've also realized a lot of these things we also don't know. Like being someone who's running a business, some of the things you're saying, I'm hearing them for the first time, that I need a finance policy. I need a HR policy, So I think a lot of these things, which is why it's important for us to have these conversations, because I realize more often than not, we really do want our businesses to grow. You want what's best for your staff. You want to actually have something that's contributing even to our country's GDP and all that, but you have no idea how to go about all these things. You don't even know who do I go to if I need that HR policy. You know, all those things. So yeah.
So maybe just to add even on that, what you say, people not knowing and bring in especially the aspect of family-run business, because if you compare family, I've done my comparison of family-run business vis-a-vis multinationals. You'll find
yes,
the multinational, even when they are setting up in Kenya, a small base, they'll make sure they have policies, they have systems, they have controls, they have weekly meetings or monthly meetings, financial reports are presented every month. But unfortunately, many family-run business, you're seeing your business is growing.
Yeah.
It's doing so well. You're like, why do I need these advisors? I already know. There's money in the bank. I know what's happening, you know. And you know, the backbone of an economy is the family-run businesses. They're the ones who set up and in 5-10 years, they are multi-billionaire, multi-million organizations in Kenya. And what we encourage and what we've seen is get an advisor who will be able to sit with you, walk with you the journey. I mean, for family-run business, create family charters, you know. What happens when the next generation kids come? You know, you're the founder, you've relied on your networks. And your business has grown because of your good name. And then your kids come and run the business. You schooled your kids very well. They went to learn Australia, UK. They come back to Kenya. They're running your businesses. But they don't have your networks. They don't know your people. But you make the assumption they will run the business. But we have... For a family-run business, we say put those structures even for the next generation, so that they're able to and mentor, link them with advisors, so that they can set some good grounds on accountability. How do I become the director? Is it a right because I'm part of the family, or do I grow in it? Do I learn in it? And there are lots of lessons we can learn, especially from the Asian families. The kids grow within the business, and by the time they're directors, they have grown within the business. So we say, get advice.
And I think that also explains why most businesses they don't reach year 5.
Yes.
And I think if you are lucky, maybe year 10. Then you close shop, you are in problems. So it's mainly because they don't invest or they don't work with the professionals, the experts in whether tax, whether accounting, whether governance, and I believe if people can really value that service, I believe they'll be able to create sustainable businesses which can last for decades.
I think if there's one thing I've benefited just working with KKCO and with you guys individually, and I'm not sure who I've had this conversation with, where there's an element of, yes, your business is making money. That's what you think the business, there is money. And I don't know whether it was Joshua Nimrod, like, or Liz, telling me it's, yes, the business has made money, but is it really a profit? Like, what is it? You know? So I think we really do need to have these conversations.
I think if you look at, I know in Kenya, there are many supermarkets which has closed for the last, could be 6 or let me not mention names. And it mainly, they don't understand this money they have. The cash, they receive a lot of money. Billions of shillings every day or even every month. But you know, that money is not, it's not theirs. It's actually money for the suppliers. So if you don't manage that, the cash which you have, so that you settle your suppliers timely, you will run into problems. And that's why you need an accountant or an auditor to tell you, yes, you have a strong cash position, but you also have liabilities on the other side of your financial statements, so that you don't celebrate and say you have a lot of money, but that money is not basically yours. It's not a profit. It's just you're holding money on behalf of other stakeholders.
I don't know whether you guys also, whether this is a problem. I've realized there are so many things that are changing in our country, whether it's laws around taxes, there's always something else, whether it's COVID happened and a lot of systems were digitized and guys got into the whole tech thing. AI is changing. Have you noticed some of the challenges in the industry around that? All these changes happening?
There's a lot of change, and I can say the change was accelerated due to COVID. And I think also globally. I mean, previously online meetings were mainly for international clients.
Yes.
Typical firm of ours.
Yes.
Our online, we were used to online meetings because of international clients in America and UK, and you're forced to have the online meetings. But locally, all our clients, we would actually meet them at their premise.
Yes.
Come COVID, everything changed. And even post-COVID, I think majority, 90% of the meetings now are online. And technology changed the way we do business. So you find, like, even in our case internally, audits. We were thankful we had already embraced, like, doing audits on cloud using systems. Like, we use a system called CCH Pro Audit. So teams can be in the field and partner can review their work while at any location. So when we closed offices, we found when we had to work from home, we were able to work comfortably without our work being disturbed. But you find clients who are manual. Oh my goodness, they would have to send boxes. They would have to keep their documents in boxes and then send them to the office. They have to be wiped to ensure we're not catching germs. You know, it was crazy. But now those firms have had to adjust and go to ERP systems, cloud systems, AI. You find accounting nowadays. Accounting, I don't have to post. With the new ERP systems and the cloud systems, all I need to do is get the bank statement, upload it by accounting system, and voila. Posting has been done in a day. You know, what you would require maybe 5 accountants to post. It's done in a day by AI. And now what happens is you're now more, your team is now looking at more of the variances, the outliers in terms of the numbers. So technology has really changed the way we do things, the way we operate. The risk has become higher in terms of fraud because we also have clever people, and we've also had to change the way we look at risk. I don't know, Josh.
Also, you also had to adjust as a business, especially in tech. Huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, with growth in terms of technology. We get the ease, what we call the ease of doing business. But then it comes also with a number of risks. Yeah, because we have the IT space is also occupied by people who understand the end. So as you're planning, as you're doing something, there's someone who is already seeing the outcome. And so clever people have come in and, come up with ways of ensuring that they defraud organizations, again, using that IT space. And so our methodology then in terms of audit have also changed so that we address inherent risk or risk that are there because of the use of technology. And so we use now other tools to ensure that as we do things like sampling, we sample scientifically so that we're able to check what else could those people do. We, again, just to be clever, we say we think like what a thief would do. So we think like that thief. Then we don't act like one, but then we get systems and processes that then catch that particular thief. And so that has happened. And we find also a lot because, just as Riz explained, ERP systems will then allow someone not to have even physical files because they will generate all those documents within the system. We have people now, we are having ability now to write checks through the system. So you don't have the checkbook, the one that used to have the leaves. And so someone is writing the checks directly. Approvals are being done online. So you see there is a risk that would come from that kind of a system. Because the other one, someone will have to come look for you with a heap of documents, scrutinize the document. Then now the end result of signing is as an outcome of having checked and checked. The other one, now the document have been uploaded. You know, everything has been uploaded. And so then you find some risk coming in where you sign, for example, you pay fraudulently. And so again, then we work around that. We have a thing called computerized audit systems or CATs. And then we devise those so that we are able to catch any aspect of fraud. But then also thoroughly, you know, doing the planning for our audit assignment based on what we call international standards. Those international standards then defines how a risk look like and how fraud can happen. And so our teams then go to meetings and then they understand what could be the risk in this kind of an organization. And those risks are different based on the entity. If I go to a supermarket, I will have a different risk profile on what can go wrong in that supermarket. For example, it may go around the area of inventory, you know, people going home with, and we have seen that people going home with stock items. So I'll check barcodes and ensure that the goods that came in are the same good minus the goods that were sold are the goods that I can see in the shelves. And so you devise tests now around that to ensure then again you give that particular customer value for the audit. Yes.
Oh, that's quite a journey even for you as a firm, having to really embrace technology and make that transition. What's something you believed earlier in your career but think about it differently right now? Something you knew or you believed earlier. Just from this conversation, I can tell you the perception I had of auditors and accountants. Okay, beside it being a really boring space to be in, I've realized
It's changed.
it has changed so much, you know, and even just that vibrancy that I'm even just from our conversation, like realizing that auditor who was stuck behind a heap of books that has changed.
So maybe one I can mention, and I did my CPAs. You know, the time when before parallel universities had come up, and you finish your high school and you have 2 years waiting before you're called and placed. And I think my older sisters and brother had done one thing or another, and I was told, okay, you do the CPAs. So I didn't know what CPAs are, and I just did it. And in the process of doing my CPAs, I absolutely did not like. Absolutely did not like those numbers. You know, reading for exams, I just didn't enjoy it. I felt like it's very, very boring. They're very boring. You're just there with your numbers, you know, just looking at them. And actually, when I went to campus, I made sure I didn't do anything to do with accounts. I did marketing.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was in marketing, and for 10 years, I joined the bank, and I didn't do anything accounts. And after doing 10 years, I circled back to accounting, and it's completely changed because accounting is actually fun. It's fun because you can, from numbers, you can see how a business operates. You don't need to tell me my business is doing well or I'm doing well. I just say, let me see your numbers. Or if you say you have a very good enterprise, you know, I'm doing very well, but maybe you're money laundering. I just need to look at your numbers. I know, is the money coming from the operations of the business, or is there money that's coming in that cannot be really explained? You know? And you can actually tell a business, you can actually, and you can actually see the effort of what the management, a team are doing and how it's translating to numbers. So it's really fun. I mean, if you have the eye of a forensic, like a thief, you just go to a restaurant and sit, and even as you're eating, you're like, okay, that waiter, the way he's not giving me a bill, I can already tell he's stealing. You know, there are things you can just sit and just see and say, if I was the owner of this hotel, there are some things I must immediately do to change so that I'm not being stolen for. You know, if I'm in a manufacturing, you just need to stay someone and see what's happening, and if you can be able to relate numbers to to their business. It's fun.
Mm.
So I think for me, accounting is fun because numbers are just not numbers. Numbers tell you, the numbers tell you something. Yeah, and one thing I say, especially because I sit in many boards, the CEO and the board members, I say as a basic skill, you must be able to appreciate numbers and how those numbers relate to the different departments, because then you're able to know how to drive your business. Yeah. So accounting and auditing is, I would encourage anyone who's thinking about that career. It's not boring. It's fun. It's how you look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Nimrod, something you believed earlier in your career, think about differently now?
I think basically, I think my training was mainly on the manual one, where you could prepare accounts manually using books. So initially I thought accounting or audit is mainly about preparing those financial statements or books. But over the years, especially as you interact with the business owners, you will realize that what they need is mainly advisory on how they can improve their business, not necessarily telling them this is your profit, this is your income, this is your expenses, which normally the numbers are in the financial statements, but the interpretation of those numbers is what really the business people or individuals need for them to do well and understand their business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's key. So it's not even so much about
it's not about preparing beautiful accounts, annual reports, beautiful we normally call the annual report, which I'm sure you've seen most of the published accounts, several pages of colorful photos and numbers. But I think you, as business advisors, you need to go ahead and interpret those numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Joshua, I'm curious, what about you?
Yeah, again, if you are to look at the past, the way accounting was introduced, an audit, the thought process was someone then for me who comes in and hides and then do an ambush. And then a number of people and a number of, and report them and all that. And so as we were training, that's how then the audit was coming in. So here auditors are coming, auditors are coming, and, it sends some shockwaves aloud, and everybody is scared, all that. And even the same stories we'll hear when auditors are coming to the bank, coming to check the mistakes, you'll be this. Then now come to the reality and realize we even tell people in advance when we are coming. Now the actual, what we call mambo kwa ground. So we actually send we send our notice. We will be coming on this period. They even tell us, no, we are not ready. Wait for another 1 week. And they are so prepared. We sometimes even send them the samples and tell them, kindly pull out the following samples for us. That means now the old system where I would like to come in a surprise manner is now has been demystified. I find it very different in the current. And so the numbers keep speaking. They have a language. Because when I come to, as Nimrod have said, when I come to present now the actual numbers, one, they speak. They never lie. They tell you the truth. So sometimes we would hear people have made these sales, then they have no money. Then you wonder, so where is the money? Now the truth, now we find it in the numbers. The money is in the debtors. They are not collecting. They are not following credit policies. They don't probably even have a credit policy. They are just, selling on credit to every, Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so then a lot then has changed to when you look at now what exactly we used to be told and what then happens today. And sometimes you interpret the numbers and they speak a lot. For example, I would give a case where I was trying to interpret a number for an organization, and they have this big building. Then now I look at the income that came from the building. So you say, fine, let's look at the value of the building and the profit you got. We call it the return on the capital that you employed. So you say, now, can I see how much money came in because of that investment? If it comes to 3%, and then board members are asking, you mean this is what the numbers are saying? And again, numbers don't lie. So they say, oh, so we got even a lower return than even someone who was operating a kiosk, because they got 3%. For every 100 shillings they invested, they got 3 shillings, So you see, now that again speaks to the numbers. Yeah, numbers have a language. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I have really learned so much from our conversation and I think the most important bit I have picked why I'd really want to work with KKCO is just that bit of, it's not so much about the accounting, the auditing and all these fallacies that are out there. The bit that I'm able to get advisory makes all the difference. The fact that you are able to have experts, people who are keeping abreast with what's happening, that makes all the difference. Yeah. I asked earlier what makes KKCO different from, all other auditors and accounting firms and other businesses that you're in the same industry. And I think confidently we have had the answer, right? Yeah, it's that bit, I'd say. Yeah.
Relational.
Yeah, relationships
are, I think for us, because there are very many accounting firms, but what's different about us, we are relational. One, we are experts. We have in terms of knowledge, we are all technical staff are CPAs, they're CPAs, we're degree holders, different backgrounds. We have the IT specialization. We have lawyers, in-house lawyers. We have in-house tax experts.
Yeah.
We have CPSs. So we have a wide range of expertise. And not just only do we have expertise, but we are relational. So we will sit with you and work with you. We want your business to thrive. We genuinely want your business to thrive. And we genuinely believe business will thrive in Kenya and does thrive in Kenya. Just make sure you set it up well. And we're there to walk with you the journey. And we've worked with several of our clients and seen them expand and grow. So I think for me, the one main difference would be the relationships. Yeah, we are relational. We care front. We give you expert advice. We care. I think the bottom line is we care for you.
I have really enjoyed my conversation with you, and I hope the experience has been the same with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I know we are going to get a lot of questions, comments, and once those come in, I'll be sure to just ping you and, maybe have another conversation with you.
Yeah.
It'll be fantastic.
Yeah. Asanteni sana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so guys, thank you for tuning into our channel and our episode. We have really enjoyed having you with us. Please, if you have any comments, any questions, drop your comments in our comment section. We are going to give a lot of our information, like where KKCO is at in the dialogue box. So keep it Beyond Numbers by KKCO Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.